last meeting. So we'll start off to receive a presentation from any guest speaker we've got any. And down here I've got Miles. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Could I just mention something? Standing on 15 says if any business with the grounds of urgency can change the agenda. And that can be proposed by the chairman or any member. And I propose that we move item 15 up to just after item 5, because they're all the ones we have to do. Because it's a matter of urgency, and that should be put to the vote without any discussion.
Right, I understand what you're saying. I understand your comment. It's up to the chairman whether we move things forward as a matter of urgency. However, just bear with me a minute. However, due to changing circumstances, you'll find that there will be something happening with item 15 tonight. I'm asking you to bear with me.
But I mean, the proposal still stands that we...
Well, we're not in a council meeting yet, so you can't postpone.
You just opened it.
No, right. I'll rephrase it then. We've opened the public session.
All right. I'll read this up after the public session.
Right. So, Miles, do you wish to make a presentation?
Yeah. Well, first, I think you all got your packs.
Sorry, can I just interrupt you, mate? Can I ask you to keep it to 5 minutes if you can?
Easy. So, you all got your packs and hope you've had a chance to read through. As you can see, we've been very active and very interactive with the kids. One thing I've noticed that isn't on there is names of the funding bids that we've actually applied for. Two of them are small maintenance grants. So I say small, between £2,000 to £10,000. We'll try to apply for the top end of those. The idea is that we try and maintain and fix bits that we've got there at the moment. The main thing I want to talk about is the shelter bit on the back. As you know, again, this is something that has been brought up a lot. And I'm curious what people think about that, because again, the kids have asked mainly to move it to another spot, not get rid of it completely, but move it somewhere else in the park. And I know nothing can be moved under this, but it's just something for the council to consider and to maybe understand. Mainly, I want this presentation bit to see if anybody wants to ask any questions from what they've seen. I will also say we have got a meeting tomorrow in here, starting at 6, but it doesn't really start till about 7ish, so more people can come. So we can go into more detail of the funding bits we can apply for and how we're going to go about it, which I don't think is relevant to this meeting.
Good. Good. I apologise, you was something for their drums.
Yeah, first of all, thanks very much for that. It's very useful and cleared a lot of hard work on me, Miles. I know it's not all you, but I know you're part of the driving force behind it. I've got 2 points to make. The first one is who we are. It says we're a voluntary community organisation by local elected members. That actually sounds like the Borough Council. Yes. You might want to think about that. That's a small thing. And the second thing is, on the park specification, it looks great what you're hoping to aim for. Yeah. Can I just make one suggestion that when you do come to apply for grants and fund and your costs, put a contingency in there. There's always some slippage. There's always something else that crops up, and it's really worth your while to put the contingency in. There's just a suggestion.
The price they've actually given there is actually a bit out of date now. It's got to get a new price because, as you can see on the new ideas, they've expanded it, and it's probably going to cost a lot more than that. But we have. Some people have actually mentioned that to us. Yeah. And even the guy who's designed this said, prepare yourself for some time.
Yeah. There's always an overrun.
There's probably a water pipe underneath that no one knows about.
Thanks anyway, cheers.
Alright, any more questions? Have you got more to say?
Well, what I do invite members to do is, again, I'm not wise to everything that exists out there at the moment. I am open to everybody to come to me with ideas. The meeting tomorrow, again, will allow people to come to us with ideas. The parents should be coming tomorrow as well, so you get to see some of the parents involved. The kids won't be there tomorrow, so you don't have to worry about that. But we do have meetings with the kids, and again, it's a great experience for people.
Any more questions? Thanks for that, Miles. The next one is for the Mrs. Williams up there on the burial ground, but it appears that Mrs. Williams is not here again. Did we invite her, or is it just been called? Just standing on. Right, so I'm going to move on then. We're still in the private or the public session, as it were. To allow questions relating to the Anston Parish Council Recreation Ground for the charity. Are there any questions anyone wants to ask about the charity? Mr. Thomas. Yes, Mr. Thomas.
Excuse me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Thomas, as you've already said. I'd like to pass this round so that the councillors here can have a quick look. I'm very aware...
Can I just stop you, Mr. Thomas? It's to ask a question.
It is.
Well, can I ask you, could you tell us what the question is, please?
I'm going to do that now.
Well, the question, please.
I would like to go through this here in detail so that they can understand the reason behind it.
And what?
The question that I'm going to ask.
The process is this, Mr. Thomas. Ask us the question, we'll sit down, we ask the question of the next person, and then we'll come back to the person who started the first question. That enables the clerk to write down the question. So can you put your question, please?
Well, it's about funding, to start with. And the only way that I see, briefly, this, to get funding really is to change the format of the charity and to have 11 members, 5 of which are council members and 6 from the general public, from the residents, so that we can access funding.
Can I have the question, please, Mr. Thomas?
So that we can access funding.
Can I have the question, please, Mr. Thomas?
I'm giving you one.
Sorry, can I have the question, please?
I want to know why the council cannot access funding for a new facility that's going to keep in being with the needs of the residents of Anston.
Where the council cannot access funding for the needs of Anston.
The residents of Anston. Why you are not...
I apologise, but to be honest, I'm being honest, I don't understand what question you're asking.
Well, you won't let me... You are being awkward, and all I want to do is explain the reasons behind. And you do it often.
Sorry, I don't understand that. Can you ask the question again then, just to clarify?
Why Anston, the charity, cannot accept, access, yes, sorry, apologies, funding for the improvement of the facilities for the residents and ratepayers of Anston.
Right, thank you. Right, what the procedure is, Mr. Thomas, is, yes, we ask for questions for the charity, but this is actually a council meeting tonight, so what will happen with your question, you'll be forwarded to the next charity meeting, and that will be discussed in the meeting. If the charity wishes to discuss it, they will discuss that question in the meeting. Thank you. Mrs. Warland?
Is it for the shelter?
Yeah.
Is it for the charity, or can that come up at the council meeting?
That's been discussed.
Right, the clerk just informed me that it'll come under the remit of equipment, because the council provide the equipment, the charity provides the land. So yes, you can ask a question about the shelter.
At the council meeting?
Yes, we're at the council meeting
Yeah,
out there.
right, I will do that.
Right. Right, there's no more questions from the public. Can we go back to Mrs. Warhead then? Can you ask your question?
Are we at the council meeting now then?
I do apologise, I've been told I've got to go to item C first. Just bear with me, if you will, Mrs. Warhead.
Yeah.
Right, item C, to allow representations regarding planning applications with the civil parish of Anston to be considered later in the meetings. Anybody like to speak on any planning applications? Sorry, I forgot your name.
Good evening, Chair, members. My name's Anita Unsworth. It's the matter before you on page 2 of your agenda Item list 40 and item 1277, but the planning application is 1293, and it's for one detached property to the rear of Three Hillside being on Main Street, which extends up to Hillside at the back, and it's at the back. I've got a photograph, I've got a big map, but I did circulate it last time, so unless you told me you want to see that again.
No, we don't need to say
Thank you. Just to say, I'm hoping that the Parish Council will support that application. It is in the conservation area, taking full account of all the requirements for that. There is an existing access, you know, and I would hope that the Parish Council will be able to support that application on the grounds of the type of property that's been proposed and the details of the design and access statement. Thank you.
Right, we are discussing that application later in the meeting,
Yes,
so I'm quite welcome to stay and listen.
Yeah, thank you.
Item D. Yeah, item D. So can we go back to Mrs. Warlett again? Sorry about Mrs. Warlett. Could you ask a question?
Well, I understand reaching out, I didn't attend, which I tried to attend them all, but I missed one, and the one I missed, apparently it was voted on to keep the shelter where it is.
I wasn't at the meeting either, but I believe that was the answer.
Well, I mean, I don't know what to say anymore about that. That shelter is so bad where it is. I don't know why the people who voted to keep that shelter where it is, do they go up and listen where, you know, on Thursday I picked my grandson up about 6:30, about 14, and if the lights were on, they'd be double that. It's fantastic, but you get coming to that shelter, the older one, there's two in there now. The police, I had a word with Cruikshank about this last year, and he says it is in the wrong place. The police cannot see when they drive on here about the big ones, but the big ones are getting on to the little ones. They don't want that shelter there. It's got to be moved. It's not right.
Yeah, can I
You
just
have
say...
to have a duty of care. The little children, you know, you can't have them being bullied, and it's a fantastic...
I've spoken to you previously on this, so I understand your feelings on this issue. I think it is a problem with the older, probably teenagers, using profanities around the younger children. And I do believe you spoke to before about the younger children feeling intimidated. If the council are not minded to move the shelter, that's the council's decision. There's not a lot I personally can do about it. Can I just bring Miles in? You want to say something, Miles?
I think it wasn't actually voted whether to keep it or not. I think we were waiting to hear back what the people who use it wanted about it. And actually the majority of them have said they don't want to get rid of it, but they want to move it.
Yeah.
And I think then it's got to come back to be discussed based on the results. What we're talking about.
Right, just one second. Can you make a decision before we address it? I'm not 100% sure, Mrs. Ward, but I think the council made a decision not to move the shelter. So what has to happen now is that decision now stands for 6 months. So the only option is, unless councillors wish to overturn that, there's various methods the council do that. We can come back to this issue in 6 months. I'll take
I
this.
mean, we had parents come to the meeting. Miles thinks back. We had a lady who was Clyde was there. I think Judy was there. Judy Dalton was there, and the parents came in, and she said she can't leave her children. Children want to come to the skate park, but they only can come when she can come and sit in the car, because she said that there were the bigger ones there.
Yeah.
She thought that they got drugs. I don't know whether they had or they hadn't, but we're having parents say, you know, to us, they want the children to come, but they don't let them come.
Okay, can I just bring Christine in?
Am I mistaken that the item on the agenda was actually to get rid of the skate park?
Shelter.
I wasn't at the meeting.
Sorry, the shelter. Yeah.
I was at the meeting and it was decided to leave it until
Yes,
the spring.
but the item was actually whether to get rid of it or not, not to move it.
Right, so the decision was to leave it where it is till spring.
Well, the decision was not to get rid. Am I right, Michael?
Correct.
So I'm saying that, you want to come in as well?
Yeah, that's my recollection, and I think there were various people spoke up, including the various contractors we've used. We've had, I think there was some feedback from the security people as well by a third party. The police didn't seem to think it was an issue, that's my understanding, and we voted to leave it where it was, but with a request for Miles to do a little bit of a survey of young people to find out what they wanted to do, so that could be fed in to the future plans for the skate park. I think that's a right.
Yeah, but how long is that going to be? We've been 12 years on with this skate park. We can't keep waiting.
But the issue was raised and we voted on it, and that's it.
Mr. Waller, the situation is the vote was taken and we can't overturn that for 6 months.
Well, I think it's sad.
Just
I
let me-
really think it's sad. And these parents,
Right. Would you like to,
what I would suggest to them is to come down themselves and
Right,
come
you want
and
to
see.
come- do you want to speak to
That, well,
do you want to speak to the
they
lady?
come to a meeting, that's what we've done, you
Mrs.
see.
Moorhead, do you want to come and speak to me later? And we'll have a chat and see if there's a way around things. Okay? If you meet me later, or speak to me
I mean,
later.
you're not going to get the children phoning police go, oh, can you come down? And
At the moment,
the children won't do
decision's been-
that, so they won't get,
At the moment, the
police
decision's
won't
been
get
made.
calls
You don't
from them.
speak, not speaking, please. At the moment, the decision's been made. I'm giving you the offer to speak to me later, and we'll have a discussion on it, and maybe see if we can find a way forward. So,
We're on section D still. Are we still on D? Are we still on D? Type of question. Are we on D? Type of
no,
question.
we've had the questions.
You what?
We've already had the questions.
Well, that is for the charity, the recreation. We're out now, one question per electorate, the civil parish.
Yes, I've already asked that previously.
No, you haven't. No, you haven't.
Sorry,
You haven't. No, you
don't
haven't.
argue with me, please.
I'm arguing because we're on question D. We're
Can
on one
I
question
just
per
be quiet?
electorate.
Just be quiet while I reply. We've already gone through the process of asking questions.
No, that was
That was
for
for
the
the
parish,
Right.
for the parish
Right.
recreation ground, which will be related to the charity.
Right, let me
And
just
that's
say that,
what I
right, stop
understood
talking
it
over
was.
me. Right? I've already gone through the process. I've asked members of the public if they wanted to put questions.
To the charity.
We've done it already. If
Yeah,
you wasn't
but
here,
this
it's
is
not our fault.
charity. This is
Right,
the
I'm moving
council.
on. We've already done it.
No, I'm going to ask my question anyway. We're not being allowed to. No, we're not being allowed to ask the question.
Listen,
The
when the
question
chair
is,
stands, everybody else...
why are you closing down
Right,
debate
Mrs.
on a
Reynolds.
matter of public interest?
Mrs. Reynolds, I'm
Namely,
asking
the
you to sit down.
recommendations from the Standards
Mrs. Reynolds,
Board
I'm asking you
to
for the second
remove
time to
Councillor
sit down, please.
Thornton from subcommittees.
Mrs. Reynolds, this is
It's
the
coming
third
up,
time.
though.
Don't point
It's
aggressively,
coming up.
please. I'm asking you to sit down. We're following a procedure.
Yeah,
If
and
you wasn't
I
here,
wanted to
that's
ask
not
a
our fault.
question on section
Right.
D, and that's the section we're on now.
I've asked you to sit down 3 times now, Mrs. Reynolds.
Yeah, and you used to do just the
And
same sort of thing.
if you carry on pointing at me in a threatening manner,
I'm not threatening,
I
I'm
will
pointing
suspend
at
the
you.
meeting.
I'm saying you used to
Right, will
do
you
the
be
same
quiet,
thing.
please? Will you be quiet, please?
We're on section D, and I want to ask a
Excuse me,
question.
you're a councillor, so you don't tell us how to...
And you're not an elected councillor either. Hold back.
Right, I'm suspending the meeting for 5 minutes in order for Mrs. Reynolds to reflect on her actions. Meeting suspended.
We were only asked.
It's all right, we'll share ours.
David.
Do you think I need sweeping up?
Gordon.
That's me.
Yeah, Hilary says, would I tell you, she's fell downstairs.
Landed on her head.
So she's not well. Yeah. So have you been in touch, though?
I've spoken to her on the phone.
Yeah.
She's not low back, but
Yeah.
she's not interested. Look, typical
I know.
bloke.
She says, tell Gordon if you see him. I phoned up George.
Who's that?
It's Brian. Yeah. I said, little kids aren't going to get on phone and phone police.
I'll tell you what happened. It wasn't the item on the agenda I put it on was to get rid of the shelter.
Yeah.
They all voted, majority vote was
Yeah.
to keep it. That was the item. It was nothing to do with moving it. So I will have a word with you later, see if we can
Yeah.
put a new item on
Yes,
to
good.
move it.
Good.
Because that
Yeah.
item, but I don't know.
See, the parents
No,
have
it could be
been
on.
to our meeting, you know, to skateboard
Yeah.
board meeting, which we've got them tomorrow.
Yeah.
They've come down there, Judy Norton were there, Clive were there, they were there when the parents came.
Yeah.
And this lady fair pleaded. She said, a little lad wanted to come down, and she said, I can't let him because of the bigger ones.
Yeah.
She said, so,
They are scared of
so
them.
unless
Yeah.
I'll come and sit in car, you know.
It's too scared.
Yeah, but I picked out Sam on Thursday, and there were about 4 more who we were playing with. Their parents come down to pick up because it was dark, and I have them on a Thursday for the tea.
Right.
And our Sam says, can I go down now to meet my friends? I said, all right, I'll pick you up at 6. Our dad were in car, he were at our house. And I come down and I thought, I said to Miles, God, I said, if there were lights on there, you know, a new skateboard and lights, how fabulous that would be. There were about 14, all little out. Yeah. Oh no, these are skateboards.
Playing.
Yeah. But I thought, I mean, if you got facilities right, they'd double that.
Yeah.
They'd keep
Oh, it
them
would,
on
Sam.
street.
It would.
But I mean, that's silly amount. Police not getting any reports because they're not going to do from little kids. A little kid ain't going to phone police up.
Let me just have a scoop.
Yeah.
That's missed it out. D, that's what we're on, D, and that's where I waited to ask my questions. That's what we're on now.
Oh, try it to all.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So you need, that's the first thing to do.
Yeah.
At the time, Your book's done tomorrow. You're still booked tomorrow.
I'm still what?
Booked tomorrow.
Yes.
So you... What?
Leaving again, ladies and gentlemen.
You booked.
Right, we're going to move straight into the parish council meeting. The other items in the public session that are not applicable. Can I ask that members of the public do not interrupt while the council is in session? Just 1 second, please. Can I ask that members of the public do not interrupt while the council's in session, and then we'll all be able to get on with business.
Like you used to.
Mrs Reynolds, if you want to carry on making comments, I can always ask you to leave. We're trying to conduct business here in a normal manner. We're not being helpful
You
at the
haven't
moment.
allowed my question.
Judith.
I haven't allowed your question because you're not
Judith.
here on time.
Can I, Chair, can I...
Item 14, it will come.
What's your point of order, Chair?
Point of order.
No, but you will, it will be discussed about the meeting
Tell me the
from
number
the
of the point
committee.
of order you're putting.
Public session, you are
Tell me the
not...
number of the point of order you're putting. Which standing order does it refer to?
It refers to the conduct of the public session.
Right, or which standing order
And it
is that?
says
Which
that-
number standing order is that?
You allow one question. You allow one question per lecture of the civil
I'm
parish.
stood up.
Well, I'm
Will
not-
you sit down, please?
No,
Will you sit down,
you've not
please?
given me a
I'm
chance to
stood up.
finish.
I'm stood up. Will you sit
Look,
down,
you've
please?
succeeded in stopping everyone else up. Let me finish.
Councillor Ireland,
You have
know
not-
the rules. You know the rules.
I know the rules.
When the chair stands,
Yeah.
all councillors have to sit.
Right,
And you
You
never
did it
took
to me
any
numerous
notice of
times, so
that.
I'm asking you to sit down.
right.
Thank you.
Unbelievable.
Right. Would you like to quote the standing order that you're in the point of order on?
Procedural.
I'm asking you to consider the misuse, the misrule of the agenda. You've not
Right, I'm
followed
going
the
to ask you
agenda.
again, Councillor Ireland, for the third time, would you like to quote the standing order that you are referring to?
Yeah, I'll find it just a minute. What's the number, somebody, of the standing orders?
Order of business starts on standing orders 12.
What number was it, please?
Standing on the 12.
So-
you know what it is.
It's the one.
I'll let you know.
It's the one that says, it's the one that allows you to stand and make a point of order, but it says a point of order or some it doesn't just say point of order, which is, it's also doing something wrong. If I find it, I'll read it out to you. Carry on and I'll find
Right,
it.
we'll carry on the meeting. We're now in the parish council session. First item on the agenda is to receive apologies for absence.
Could I, before we start, can you just make a point
Let's do the apologies for absence and I'll come back straight back to you. I will come back to you.
Well, it's regarding before the meeting.
Right, we'll do apologies for absence first and I'll come straight back to you. Right, the only person that's not here is Councillor Benson, who's ill. Can we have a proposal seconded to receive Colin and Mick? Thank you. Councillor Jonathan Ireland, you have a point?
Yes, I believe we didn't actually follow the previous agenda because we were on section D.
Right.
Yeah. And then we didn't ask for any ward members, obviously not here, so you can't ask for any. And then it didn't actually get announced to the public that the parish council members will address any questions. So as far as everyone's aware here, we were still on section D, which allows the public to ask questions.
Right.
So
Somebody didn't say this last meeting, but I've already spoken to the clerk on this, and we asked them, the questions were answered, and therefore E and F become more applicable. So now we'll move on to item 2. Sorry, you're not part of this meeting, but you're not allowed to speak to this.
I am a parish
it's
member.
not allowed.
Right. Mrs Reynolds, if you continue to interrupt the meeting...
Like you used to.
So you're doing it again, Mrs Reynolds.
Like you
If
used
you
to.
continue...
We need to move
If you
on.
continue to interrupt the meeting, I'll ask you to leave.
I don't forward. We never get anything done. Well, he said it was coming up in...
So item 2, you can carry on.
Can we have quiet in the audience, please?
I want
Right,
to ask my question.
item
On
2.
section D.
Can I
Item
just
2.
finish what I was saying? Because I was interrupted as well.
Well, I know, I've just ruled that E and F are not applicable. Now we're moving on to the meeting.
Well, for what reason? Can you
Because
just
I've made a
so
decision.
and you're a bit more experienced than me, so enlighten me.
That's because you don't want questions asked about you. You want
Listen,
conversation
right, Mrs.
closed
Reynolds.
down.
Mrs. Reynolds, I'm now giving you warning. I'm trying to conduct council business
And I'm really
with the help of
frightened.
councillors, so I'm now warning you, if you continue to interrupt the meeting, I may ask you to leave.
Good.
I don't want to ask you to leave, so the choice lies with yourself. So I'm on to item 2, to disclose members' DPI or personal interest in any item to be discussed.
You still
Just
didn't
like
explain
the first
why.
one. By what?
Why isn't that
Why
one
we-
to ask the questions?
Mr. DNF, haven't
Right, not talking
Because I'm a news
They're
councillor,
not
and I
applicable.
would like,
Right,
for what
I've
reason?
told you before, they're not
Because
applicable.
I'm learning, so I'd like to know.
Right, no, I've told you 4 times now, they're not applicable.
For what,
Why
And
not?
that's why we've moved on. Sorry, Mick, you're declaring the interest.
but for what reason?
Need a
For what
reason.
reason?
You can't just say they're not applicable and not give a reason.
Right,
I would like to know, so next time I'll...
let me just say this. I'm chairing this meeting. If members of the public are going to continue to make comments, I will ask individually. Right. Meeting is suspended for 5 minutes to allow Mrs. Reynolds to reflect on her behaviour.
She's got short notice, I can't very short.
So you're not going to I know it is.
I'm sorry, man. I'm really sorry. I'm a very bad person.
I'm going to send you a letter.
I do thrashing as you speak.
Could you send me text? Because stuff's done.
You're not going to get an answer because we wasn't in the council.
John, have they chucked you out over there?
No, I took myself out.
What's up to this now?
No, I think it's quite wrong because they didn't ask that.
No, sorry, I'm just having a joke with you about moving.
No, I don't like them.
Oh, don't you?
He didn't. Those 2 questions of first question were about the charity. And
Yeah.
he missed out. And then he had the planning. Then he should have had this a question.
Per elector on a topic for which the Parish Council
Yeah, that-
has
they were
a
there about the-
responsibility.
they-
He missed that.
He missed that
Yeah.
out. And that's why here, this standing order says, a standing order which he considers as being breached, well, I can't give him that, but specify the irregularity in the meeting. He is concerned by the irregularities. He's missed that
Is
out.
that, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's terribly heresy. Get it off my chest and then move on. The easiest thing to do, I know what she's going to mention these.
Yes, I've told her it's coming up.
So,
I've told her it's coming up there.
all he needs to say, let her get off her chest and I can say,
Yeah.
it will be discussed
No,
later.
but I've told her she's not to know, John. I've told her number 14. Yeah.
What annoyed me was it was really beginning to be desperate because there's no way that no one gets me back into the It's too gangly.
It's all irregularity, which really comes out. I think the irregularity is missed out section 3. Well, no. Every man of it should be done. So all I want to do is sit down and
I dare you to.
They're not rules. I've heard the chuck, you know. Chucked her off with It's pathetic. Have you looked at, yeah, you've got to get on your computer, look at Anston Parish Council Watch. I've put a post on telling that lot to keep in the gang up. You must do good last week, God. You've got to get on it.
This computer is so new.
Yeah, I know.
Well, totally lost it.
I've been told that I've got to get a new computer, and I've said no, because I'm not going to spend the last struggling. God, I can do what I want to do on the one, but it keeps going a bit dodgy. But I just get bloke into look at it, you see, and I says to him, he says, he turns his computer on, and he comes, so he don't, so that's what's supposed to happen when you turn your computer on. So I says, oh well, can't you make mine do that then? So he says, oh yes, I can do that. I'll open the bin lid and chuck it in. But I'm not getting rid of it, good, because I can use it. If it breaks down, then I can live with that.
5 minutes is up to tea time.
Hey?
So 5 minutes is
Yeah.
supper time.
You'll have to get the Anston Parish Council one. Has he opened it again?
Good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. That's the second time I've had to suspend the meeting tonight. I'm going to attempt again to carry on business. I'm going to move on to get the checks, etc. signed. In case you
Mr.
stop.
Chairman, please.
What's your point of order?
You asked me to say what the point of order was. It's number 44 under the standing orders, which says a councillor raising a point of order shall identify the standing order, which I've done, 44, which considers that he has breached or specified the irregularity in the meeting he is concerned by. The irregularity is that you didn't ask people section D under the agenda of public sessions. You didn't let them ask a question about Anston Parish. You took 2 questions about the charity but not the parish.
Right, thank you for your point of order. So I have to make a judgment on your point of order. I'm going to reject your point of order on the grounds that A, it wasn't in the meeting, it was in the public session, so standing orders don't apply. And the second part is, people were asked for questions, 2 people put their hand up. One question referred to the charity, the other question was asked, was it a charity issue or not? It was clarified it was a council issue, and that question was put, that question was answered, and then we moved on to the next item. Items E and F.
You missed.
Excuse me, you're not allowed to speak while I'm speaking.
I am speaking while I'm speaking. I'm sorry.
I ask you to be
You
quiet
missed
while I'm
question
speaking.
D.
Mrs. Thomas,
We both
Mrs.
have
Thomas, will
questions
you
to
refrain from
ask,
speaking?
and you weren't given
Mrs.
time
Thomas,
to do
will
it.
you refrain from speaking when I'm speaking?
No, I'm sorry, I won't, Mr. Stewart Thorpe,
Meeting closed.
because you have
The meeting's
denied us
closed.
our
Go to
right
members of
to
the
ask
public
the
being
question.
disruptive.
Can we go on?
What's on telly?
Well, that's the creation of it.
I know, same here.
They won't make